Yeah, it's time to empower, educate, and encourage your women to motivate you through whatever you've been going through. We can talk about it. We ain't passing no judgment. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come on the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. Tune into your lane talk show. It makes us feel good just to know we're not alone. No more will we feel isolated and cast aside. I want you to come out the dark. Just don't be afraid of your heart. So don't be ashamed. It's all the same. Stay in your lane. Your lane. It's whatever your real life looks like. Stay in your lane. Come out the dark and don't be ashamed. Your lane. Let's have a conversation on what we face every day. It's your lane talk show with Coach Trish Hanna.
Hello, 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 and welcome everyone to Your Lane Talk Show with your coach, Trish Hanna. Hey, thank you so much for joining us today. Happy Mother's Day to you, wonderful mothers. Happy Mother's Day to the expectant mothers. Hey, those trying to conceive, but our show last week, right? God has not forgotten you. I just have to put that little tip right there. Happy Mother's Day to you, okay? So when you go to any event coming up this week or whenever they have some post Mother's Day event, make sure you raise your hand up too. When they say all the mothers stand up, make sure you raise your hand and get your rose, okay? Because you are a mother, all right? The fruit of your womb is blessed, lady. I stopped by just to let you know that. I want to be the one to tell you congratulations first, okay? The expectant mothers, the soon-to-be mothers, congratulations. Happy Mother's Day to my wonderful mother, Miss Joan Anderson. Thank you so much for all that you do, not just for me, but for my spoiled sister too. Yeah. Thank you so much for being you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for just always, especially now, even now that I'm older, you're always there. Your answers are always yes to me. Somehow I have to try not to take advantage of that, but you're an awesome, awesome mother. And today I call you blessed publicly. And also, I want to say a salute really to my mother in law, Miss Hopeful Delphine Williams. God bless you. Thank you so much for what you're doing. And may you have a beautiful, beautiful day today. For those tuning in for the first time, Your Lane Talk Show was created to educate, encourage, and empower women of all ages. Before I continue, I want to say something too. I want to say my deepest sympathy and condolences to those who may be in grieving right now, in bereavement right now, for those who had mothers and passed, their mothers have passed. I can only imagine how this day may be for you. And so I just want to take a moment to just extend my condolences to you as well. And to let you know that, hey, cherish the moments, cherish those times, cherish the carry on the legacy, and whatever lessons that she may have taught you as you were growing up, continue to hold on to that. And if you have an opportunity to, if you are also a mother, see if you can actually hand that over and hand that down to your children. All right. Our previous show, we had two courageous ladies come in and share their journey with infertility. It was a show filled with inspiration and hope. I'm going to tell you that I had people running me down saying, "Oh, I had this too, or this happened to me too." Yes, ladies, the statistics now is 1 in every 6 women suffer from infertility or pregnancy loss. And so, of course, when you go into a room of women, understand that, hey, you could do your numbers, you could start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. One of them secretly is in a state where they saying, oh Lord, what about me? Hey, have you forgotten me? You understand what I'm saying? And so if you want to know more about that particular show, it's inspiring now. I don't want to make it seem like, oh, this is a sad show, I'm going to start crying. No, it's an inspirational show. I promise you. You can go onto YouTube, search Coach Trish Hanna, episode 51, and it's entitled Managing Infertility. So when you go on there, please like and subscribe. Okay. All right. In today's show, Your Lane, we're featuring 3 wonderful mothers that I am sure that you will be able to resonate with at least one of them while listening to them today. We have a mother with a blended family. We have a single parent mother. We have a mother who's representing a child with autism. Okay. And then, of course, it's just me. All right. I'm a mother of three, married mother of three, and I will share my input whenever I have an opportunity to do so. But we will get to hear their views about how they are raising their children and any tips that they are willing to share and offer with us. We are open and willing to accept it. I implore you to call or take to have a loved one. Tune in, call a loved one, and tell them, look here, tune in. Go to channel 976 on cable or tune into Star 106.5 FM dial or go on to Your Lane Life Coaching Facebook page so you can see these beautiful faces. We are welcoming you to just tune in, to be encouraged, to be blessed, and be inspired. And for those who are watching, please tag someone to encourage them today. Your Lane episode 51 is entitled, I forgot what it's entitled, Mother's Day Round Table. That's the name of it, Mother's Day Round Table. And it's brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Your Lane Life Coaching, Family Medicine Center, Bahama Odds and Ends Party Supplies, Listerine, distributed by Lowe's Wholesale, Skin Solutions Day Spa and Salon. Don't forget their Mother's Day packages are available. Hey, the Perfume Bar, and Dairy Queen. Listerine teams up with Lupus 242 in highlighting all Lupus warriors. For the entire month of May, partial proceeds of every purple Listerine purchased will be donated to the Lupus 242 Foundation. Purchase purple Listerine at any of the Lowe's pharmacy locations, and I am most certain that you will be a blessing for those who are the Lupus warriors. All right, so go ahead, make a purchase. I like the purple Listerine. I like them. I like the ones with the non-alcohol. I love those. I purchase those for my kids. They love anything with it. They like anything to do anything like that. My predictions of emotions for the day. I think I think 90% serious aha moments and 10% laughter. I don't predict any crying today. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think so. I think this is another inspirational show, motivational show. I believe that we're all going to be encouraged. We're all going to glean from each other today. No crying, right? No crying. All right. So we're going to get straight into it. I'm going to allow my guests to introduce themselves. I have three beautiful mommies, two in the building and one on virtual. And we're going to start to my left and we're going to work our way. So to my left, I have Adama Williams. Adama, welcome.
Hi, thank you. It's a joy to be here.
Wonderful. I want you to tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
Okay, so my name, like you said, is Adama Williams. I am married. I am. This is my second and final marriage. That's what I like to tell people.
Okay.
I ain't doing it no more
No more.
because I should have done it right the first time. So now I've done it
That's
right.
not a show. I gotta go
Right.
back.
Yeah, we talk about motherhood. Focus, Adama. Focus. Okay, so I'm a married mother of, I have three biological children, all girls. So that's plenty stress and joy at the same time. And I have my husband, when I met him, he had a daughter and a son. So that's five in total.
Five.
Mm-hmm.
Five.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And how long have you been married?
We've been married for November will make 7 years.
Ooh,
7
cool.
years.
All
Yes.
right.
Yes.
All right, Mama.
Mhm.
So you are representing the blended family.
Yes.
I love it.
Mhm.
All right. And to your left is
Akera Brown.
Yes.
Yes, it's a pleasure to be here. Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers and expecting mothers. My name is Akera Brown. I've been married now for 16 years. I am too from a blended family, but I'm representing the families with a special needs child. I have 7 beautiful children, inclusive of the dog,
Oh, no.
6 humans, and 5 biological children.
Wow. Well, let's do this math again.
Mhm.
You have 7
Yeah.
children and one of them is the dog.
One is the
All right,
dog,
so 6 human children.
6
Mhm.
human children,
And how
and
many?
5
Five
biological.
Okay, so
Mhm.
one is okay. Good. I got you.
Yes.
So you're a stepmommy as well.
I'm also a
All right,
stepmom.
then let's go. And then virtually we have with us Kasprintina Ellis. Hello, Kasprintina.
Hi, I'm
Hi.
Kasprintina. I'm a mom of two amazing boys. I'm a single mom, so I represent the single, and I guess you could put slash divorced
Single
mom.
slash divorce, and that is so powerful because yes, we do have a lot of persons represented in this country alone who have been divorced and of course are raising their children on their own. In some cases, the men will come in and out, whatever have you, but we ain't getting into that part today. So, ladies, this is the only question that I'm going to ask would require a bunch of thinking. Everything else will just flow. I promise you. And this is your definition, and there's no right or wrong answer to this question. And my first question, this is just to get the party started, get the ball rolling. And I want you to define motherhood for you. What is the definition of motherhood for you? You don't need to look for Webster and the rest of them. You don't need to go Google it. What is motherhood? Who wants to go first?
I can go first.
Let's go, ma'am.
For me, motherhood is just being able to nurture someone or something, regardless of what it may be. I just want to be there to nurture. It doesn't have to be a biological thing. It doesn't have to be even mine. I just want to nurture whatever it is. And that's my definition of being a mother.
I should have gone first because that's the first word that popped in my head, a nurturer. Exactly. And so I agree with you that it is your role to nurture, to love, to care for, to be an example for another individual. I always say too, for me, it's not blood. It's not blood relation. It's just
Agreed.
caring for an individual and raising that individual, instilling morals, values into that individual, pulling out the best in that child.
I love that. Okay, Cass, what is your definition of
For me,
motherhood?
I'd say it's unconditional, sacrificial love. That's my definition of it because it requires all of those things. But it's the greatest and biggest assignment that I think God will ever give to women. It requires nurturing, it requires love, it requires sacrifice, it requires selflessness. We always have to be at our A game. Mothers never stop. They say a woman's work is never done, a mother's work is never done. My boys are 18
So
and
true.
22, and I'm still a full-time mom. And so I just believe that, it requires a sacrifice, but it comes with a huge amount of benefits.
I love that. I love that. All right. So what, and we breaking ice here, right? We still breaking ice. What were some of the things that you did not get away with as a child that you see you are allowing your children to get away with? That is juicy. I want to know.
Did not.
So for a fact, right? When y'all, I ain't gonna talk about. Okay, let me talk about me. I ain't talking about y'all. Okay, I'll throw my own self under the bus.
Go ahead.
Okay, so some of the things that my kids don't really back talk as much, but what I went through as a child, I think today y'all will call child abuse, but in a good way because it was
for sure.
nothing. Okay, okay. So I haven't even gonna share. All right, half of the things, but definitely, the back talking. I had to eat all of my food and I had to eat whatever was on the plate. Okay, that was a must. You don't get to pick, choose, or fruits. You don't even get to ask what you want for breakfast. Okay, breakfast was handed there. You eat it or you go hungry. And that was all right. My children now, Lord help me, Jesus. They this is what I want today. And they come with their menu. All right. So I just had to share mine. So let's say I'm going first.
So your question was again,
what did you get away with? Or what are the things you did not get away with?
What I'm allowing my child to get away with. Ooh.
As you think, I'm allowed to speak.
I definitely could say 90% of the stuff because I find myself raising my daughter. She's 9, autistic. The way I thought I should have been raised, if that makes sense. So everything that I felt I didn't like that happened to me, I find myself trying to correct it. Not saying that it's the correct thing to do, but pretty much she's autistic. She is considered nonverbal, but I tend to say non-conversational because she could say exactly what she want to say, sing exactly what she want to sing, but yet you could ask her a question and she could go mute. So she does this thing, whereas if she wants cereal at dinner time, I'm like, what the heck? Eat. Once you eat and I'm happy. You're alive. Passing other milestones. Don't panic. I find myself, she may throw a tantrum and I may threaten to spank her. But notice I use the word threaten. That there's nothing in me that, and then if she does this thing where she backs talks, sometimes deep down inside, I'm having the biggest laugh because it was so funny. But I tend, like I said, 90% of the stuff that I didn't get away with, she does. And I pretty much allow it. And that really sounds bad, but I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, it's okay for your household.
It definitely, I hope so.
Okay.
We'll know when she's 18.
What about you, Cass?
I think for me, it's I'm not going to use the word back talking. I'm going to use the ability to express yourself.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little freedom of speech. I think, the kind of structure we come from, especially in the Caribbean, is that we, you do what you're told to do. You don't really have no say. You do what I say.
Right.
And I think learning to raise two boys and being single, I had to still play the role of a disciplinarian, and I still had to be the nurturing mother. So I had to find a balance. So I had to be the mom who understands how they feeling, and then be the disciplinarian to guide them. So I think I allowed them to kind of voice their opinions and answer back in some cases. And I wasn't allowed to do that when I was a kid. I was known to be biggity, is what my dad would call me. I was very sassy. And so a part of me laugh at it now because I see that in my younger son. I say he checks me. So he'll be like, well, if you say this, then, well, how come you doing this? And I wasn't allowed to do that as a child. So that's my little piece that I allow to get away with. But I think in that regard, it helps somewhat to raise healthy individuals, because I think it's important for us to be able to hear what our children has to say. What they have to say matters just as much as us parenting have to say to them, and I feel like I allowed my kids to make some decisions with the things they like to do, as opposed to I was told what I was going to do. You're going to ballet. You're going to go here. You're going to do this. And this was all a part of the mold of producing a good, upstanding citizen.
Yes.
And I think I gave my kids a little bit of expression and allowing them to pursue the things they were passionate about and not what I thought was right for them to do. So those are the things that I let them get away with. But somehow it balanced out to be not so bad of a thing.
Well, yeah, you did a pretty good job, but we can talk about that soon, because some people don't know who you are, and I like that. I like that. So we're gonna get to that soon. All right. So, I like how she said that some of the traits that she saw on her son, she noticed that she was the same way. So let me ask you. Let me go back to Adama. Because did you answer my question?
No, I didn't, and I was waiting for my opportunity.
Hi, Trish.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, I'm ready
Go
to answer
ahead.
the question. So it's similar to Cass's answer in that when I first started as a younger mother, I tried to emulate what my mom did, right? And so if she said, "Oh, no, what I said is final and that's it. Don't answer back," that kind of thing. But I noticed over the years, my oldest daughter, she's 17 now, that really didn't work too much. And then I noticed like the emotions aren't right and the communication isn't where it should be and that type thing. So after years passed and I had one child, two children, I realized, okay, I think I need to take a different approach to how I respond to my children. And so, like Kia said, I now give opportunity for them to say, okay, so why do you feel that way? Did you really understand what I was saying? Okay, so why don't you want to do it? So I allow for more communication now, and I notice a difference. Some my 17-year-old now, she's feeling just a little too comfortable.
Okay.
So right. So like there, you have to be able to put that balance there, where to draw the line. So yeah, that's my experience. After experience and after wisdom, you realize that you need to change your approach to make sure that you're reaching and you're not losing these children.
I love that. Yes. All right, my next thing, and this was inspired by Cass's statement. She said some of the traits that she see her son have, she noticed that she had. So of course they developed that through her and her, the way that she was expressive. So let me ask you all too. How do you feel when you see certain traits or habits that you exhibited as a child in your children? And that could be good. In fact, give me one good and one bad. I want to hear the bad. Y'all ain't coming here to knock.
Mine is crying.
Oh,
Mine is crying. And I cried. Yes, I cried a lot. And if any of my children cry, I'm like, what are you crying for? And then someone who knew me from a child will say, well, that's what you used to do. And it annoys me. Like, don't say that in front of my child, though. Okay? Because I want them to be better. One good, one positive thing. I'll say for the most part, well, two of them are loving. They have my warm personality. Shy but outgoing at the same time. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes,
kind of personality. So yeah.
Oh Lord, Kira. I don't want to go back with Kira past, right? But all things have been made new, right? But let's hear.
Glory. Boy. What I can say is, let's just use the word determined.
Right.
I like that.
Stubborn.
So, but I see that in my princess, and it can be good and bad, and we can leave that right there. Determination with all of them, and the attitude with the facial expressions, and the attitude with the stumping. So yeah, but I am so, how to put it, I can't picture my life without them.
Of course.
That's my entertainment. That's my world in a good and bad way.
They keep you safe. They keep you close to Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, my 9-year-old, she keeps me to the cross because she can do some things.
And so how much of her personality do you see?
Oh my,
I mean,
that
of
is
you
little
seeing
me.
her? Oh, okay.
That even with her
Wow.
autism, that's little me. And she's determined, good or bad. Whether if she's determined to learn, she's gonna get it.
Yeah.
And if she is determined to eat that cupcake,
She does.
rain, sleet, snow, she's gonna eat that cupcake, and that's final.
And that's how you are.
Whether we get spanked, whether we take away a tablet, whether we hear no from sunrise to sunset, we're gonna eat that cupcake.
Oh wow.
Good.
Scary.
Yes. She's a woman of her word.
Okay.
Wow. I'm have to go right along with you. I can use the word determination. I think they both show characteristics of it. Just believing that they could do it. They don't want anybody to tell them otherwise. Like I just want to find out. My mommy would say, you can end up in a hole because you want to find out for yourself. And I feel like that's probably, my little stubbornness, we calling it determination today, is what they would have, that trait, that little trait that they may have gotten from me. I see it in both of them. And we can stick with determination. So that kind of fostered some strong young men that were very strong will and goal oriented. And I would have to say my compassion and my love for people.
Definitely.
They both definitely have that. I have a little story. I went into a Dunkin' Donuts right on Paradise Island one day, and this lady's looking at me, and she's like, "Miss, please excuse me, but do you have a son named Caden?" And I was like, looking at this lady like, why would she know that? And I said, yeah. She said, because Miss, he have all of your mannerisms. He's the same person.
Wow.
Wow.
And I thought that was so wow, because I had never seen this lady before, but she had seen him so many times. And so she saw me and just associated it. And I was like, well, they say chip don't fall, apple don't fall far from the tree. So
Yeah.
I guess your fruit definitely can have some of what you got in you.
Yeah.
Listen, I wanted to take a short break, a quick break, but when we come back from the break, I want y'all to discuss now, because this is where we're getting into the meat. I just was trying to make sure y'all okay and y'all know how to talk, but I just wanted to get a little taste, let the audience get a little taste of, little bit of questions that maybe all of us may have experienced at some point. And then we go into details. Now, this is details for you. You're going to talk about your state as a mother with a child with autism, your blended family, you being a single mother who's divorced. Right after this break, but before we do so, I want you all to indulge mom or yourself this Mother's Day at Skin Solutions Day Spa and Salon. Skin Solutions Day Spa and Salon has Mother's Day packages with so many packages to choose from. You can just, even if you don't want to choose their individual packages, you can go ahead and purchase a gift card. Let me tell you something. Moms, no mother will ever say no to a spa package, okay? Just
Ever.
FYI. I'm trying to figure out, what to get mommy. And their packages will be on from now until the end of the month. So even if it passed, if it's Sunday and you still ain't have nothing, you go to mommy with your hands swinging. Monday morning, go to Skin Solutions. Go back to mommy on Monday afternoon and give her a gift certificate, please. And if you want to know more about Skin Solutions and their packages, they're located on Cable Beach Strip, right west of Bahamas. Of course, you can go in or you can give them a call at 327-0500. That's Skin Solutions Day Spa and Salon. Let's take a break and later. So, salutations to our Facebook audience. Say hey.
Hello.
And
Hey,
to
Facebook.
y'all say hello to
Welcome.
Oh,
All right.
so we
I
can't
want y'all
focus on our man.
Yeah, just for 2 seconds as we on this break. But just I want
Okay.
you to just salute and honor your husband, please.
All right, so I'll go first because I think I have the best husband in the whole world,
There you
Mr.
go.
Denrelio Williams. Listen, I cannot imagine life without you. You mean everything to me, and I thank you for always being by my side and supporting me to be the best mother and wife that I can be.
Remember when I said it was no crying on the show?
No,
I'm
taking advantage.
And the thing is, when I was saying, "Oh Lord, Trish, I guess she don't know me too well because
So I'm a crier too, I'm a crier. Bye.
yeah,
My daughter's like that. She's
Mhm.
and then I do the same thing. Like, what you crying for?
right,
Trish.
that's you."
Okay.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Well, I would love to say hello to my wonderful husband of 16 years, Mr. Edison Jamal Brown, my number one supporter.
You go, girl.
That's my cheerleader.
That's yours.
That's my team. All mine.
That's yours.
Love you, honey.
That's
From
Flores.
it's yours.
It's your, oh, sorry. It's
Yours.
yours.
Love you, honey, from me and the children. And life will never be the same without you. We love you and we thank you.
Oh, don't make people cry, man.
Sweet. So sweet.
Well, anyway,
Yes.
let's everybody have their turn.
Thank
right?
you.
Mhm.
Hello and salute.
Yes.
Mhm.
My
Your team.
Yes.
my
Yes.
Yes.
prophet,
Mhm.
my
That's right.
thing,
There you
Dr.
go.
Chaswell Andre Hanna.
Mhm.
God bless you and thank you so much for how long we've been married now? 15 years. Catching you up,
Whoa.
catching you up, that
Hey.
we've been together. We have only us now, our three
Mhm.
children together, because I
Mhm.
don't know. I can't do
Mhm.
anything more than 3 by God's grace. Oh, we do
Well,
have a dog.
Ah.
We do have a cat.
Triton.
And we have Titan.
Oh, sorry,
And
Titan.
we have 5 cichlids. Right. So a cat, a dog, and fish. Yeah.
Mm.
So we make up a happy family.
On a
you
farm.
know.
Well, I see one more. I see one
You
more.
gotta go back and fertilize outside on the road somewhere, not here. All right. But yes, I salute you. Thank you so much. You've made me being a mother, even the fact that every time when I have to go, and we're going to talk about this too, when we have to have moments of just me time and selfie time and time where we need to be poured into. My husband has always been, yes, okay, honey, I'll watch them for you. Take the time that you need. And I appreciate you so much for that. So life is not as hectic and it's not as tedious because you're right there supporting me. And I give God thanks and praise for you. I love you.
Aww.
That's enough mushiness for the day.
I
No
promise
more.
you, yeah.
Okay.
Good. That's enough.
Okay.
No
All
tears.
right. So we're just gonna let me know when we go back on. Welcome back. If you're joining us, we are Mother's Day Roundtable. That's the topic for the day. So that's what we came up with, right? This is a Mother's Day Roundtable, episode 52, where we have three beautiful women here sharing their stories. We have Akera Brown, Adama Williams, and Kasprintina Ellis on with us, sharing their journey as mothers. And listen to me, so far, I'm just loving what they're doing, but I can't wait for them to share their story. And just before we went on the break, we were saying, okay, we're going to go ahead and just discuss how is it to be, how do you feel, or how do you, what was your journey about when you, anyway, let's just go straight into the questions because I started to ask questions now. So I'm going to start with Kira first because I really want her to hit home. I didn't have an opportunity to cover autism awareness. And so, of course, I am just delighted to have her in our midst right now so she can bring awareness. And then, obviously, she can talk about her personal journey as a mother with an autistic child. So let's start from Greg. Let's start from the moment that you heard that there was an issue with your child. I just say an issue because I don't want to use any particular term that would be off.
Understood.
Right.
Understood.
Right.
Okay. So I remember I think she may have been a little over 1. She at that moment she was hitting all the other milestones on target or probably even exceeding. The only lag was speech. So my family, if you know my family, they're very outspoken. They ain't pulling back. So everybody like, man, something wrong though, something wrong. Like, look at the other children, whatever, something is wrong. So I'm like, well, okay, I understand something is wrong, but what is? So, at this point, I'm going through mother bear syndrome because now I'm taking up for my baby. Okay. So I'm getting offended, but deep down inside, I know something is wrong. It's just how you approach me on it was kind of a little bit of a challenge, So fast forwarding at this point, without telling anyone besides my husband, I'm now searching to see what could be wrong. So when we went to the pediatrician, just to do regular checkups and whatever, he said, okay, let's look at autism. So I was like, okay, at this moment now, no, pause, sorry. Right before that, I remember being in the shower and I actually started to cry because I'm like, okay, God, what is this? What is this? Like, what's going on? And you said no tears, but I get an emotional. I'm sorry. So I remember saying, God, what's going on? And he showed me this RBC shirt that said autism. And I was like, wow, like it blew my mind because that was my first encounter crying out to God. And I had a clear visual, like, how did the shirt show up in the shower?
Yeah.
So evidently that was a clear visual
Wow.
of what it was. So fast forward now, went to the pediatrician and I asked him what was autism.
Yeah.
And it clicked to him, okay, let's test her for autism because even now, autism is still being learned about
Right.
by scientists and doctors. So there's no clear definition, there's no clear answer, there's no clear solution. Every parent that's dealing with a special needs child is still trial and error,
Right.
you know? So what may work for me may not necessarily work for you, but I just want to encourage someone anyway, you know, that you will never be alone. Just speak out,
Right.
you know, ask if you need help, just ask for help. But back to my situation. So we tested her for autism, and let's say it was 10 questions, maybe about 8 of them was leaning towards autism. So he said, at the end of the day, she's only 1 and whatever, because we hit the data on the head at the time. He said she still can't be diagnosed before 2. So let's just rule out other options. I can be wrong. He was honest enough to say, I still could be wrong.
Yeah.
I guess at this point, he was still giving me hope. But like I explained to most parents that I get to meet, autism is not a death sentence.
Right.
So don't label these children and don't continue to speak life into them.
Yeah.
So at this point, we were just doing other tests. We did speech therapy. We did hearing tests. It was so bad. There's a particular physician out there. I taunt this lady. Oh my goodness, I feel so bad. I taunt her because I was on her every minute. I'm like, look, my baby need help. I need you to test this. I need you to find out what's going on. I need this and I need that. Whether it called for me taking the day off from work, if it called for me asking my husband to, listen, I have to go and deal with this. I need you to do this. And I must say, even in his fatigue and his tiredness, he said, okay, baby. Okay. It was never a no, you know, and we continued to be advocates just to find out what was going on until we actually found out. And to be honest, it was a relief because I'm like, okay, now that we have a diagnosis, we could now know how to help her.
Right.
Because the first problem was wanting to help and feeling helpless
Yeah.
because you don't know how to help. You
Yeah.
didn't know what was wrong to try and help.
Yeah.
But after she was diagnosed, it may sound weird, but it became a little bit easier. It became easier. And even to having, well, the last 3 came back to back. So it was a challenge because after her being recently diagnosed, I found out that I was pregnant again. And it was scary because now it's like, am I going to have another special needs child? Or am I going to be able to still deal with her and deal with a brand new baby? And still have another toddler because they're 15 months apart. So this is like, well, I wanted twins, so God said, okay, yeah, triplets then. Have your triplets then. Yeah. So they're 15 months apart, you know, he goes out in style. He don't just play that little, so
Careful with
it
that.
was a bit of a challenge, but all I could say is it really takes a village. And sometimes in a challenging time, you don't realize who your village actually is. And most persons believe, oh, my village is my family. That's a story. Sometimes your village could be co-workers. It could be physical neighbors. Your village could be strangers. Sometimes strangers are your biggest supporters.
Oh, I know about that.
You know? And I've had times where at first it was a bit embarrassing for me to take her out because she couldn't express herself.
Right.
So her first reaction was to scream and throw a tantrum. So you have one toddler who looking at you, the next one having a panic attack, and the baby like, so where the bottle is? Like,
Lord.
I need since
Wow.
3 minutes ago, miss, where the bottle is.
Yeah.
So as a mom, you sitting there and you're like, it's time to cry. Because you can't figure out what to do or how to do it. It's like help me, but persons don't even realize that. They see you smiling and they believe, oh, that's peachy perfect. Or, you know,
She have it all together.
yeah, you know. And I look at people and say, listen, when you see them dressing cute, dying the best of them, you know, keep them, please. Keep them. But yes,
Ooh, you are strong
really,
on this.
really,
Oh
Very
my
strong.
gosh.
thank
I have
you,
to salute
thank you.
Mom.
Yes.
For
But
sure.
sometimes people don't realize, you know, and my husband and I recently spoke, because he's an advocate as well. When he was explaining that a lady was saying, you know, well, oh, she have to potty train her child and whatever. And he's like, well, I potty train our daughter and this and that. And I said, yeah, I said, you forgot the challenge. And he was like, oh, yeah, I did. You know, I said, okay. So imagine, you know, as simple as potty training her. Like I explained to most parents, I said, listen, what we deem a normal child, potty train in 2 to 3 weeks. Just be persistent. A child with autism, oh no. Some parents have children with autism that are 10 and still not potty trained. But people don't know that, you know. And even as simple with her being potty trained and even her understanding, you know, we have the talk. We go in an establishment, don't ask for nothing. I don't have no money, don't touch nothing. I'm proud to say she understands that now.
Wow.
You know,
Yeah.
we can go into the food store as long as she has a box of Lucky Charms.
Yeah.
She's good.
Good.
God is good, and you can
Yeah.
shop in peace. She understands you have to pay for the item before you
open
open it.
Mhm.
And so God is good.
Mhm.
But most persons don't even understand that alone, just that simple milestone dealing with a special needs child is superb. Like when I walk into a place and I can say, okay, baby, have a seat, and she sits there. Other parents may see her twiddling and having a little break dance, or she may scream a little bit here and there. And you have some person be like, why is she doing that? You know, or whatever.
What's wrong with that?
Sensitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at them like, say it. I promise you.
Oh.
Say it.
People are so insensitive.
You know, but I back to my number one rule. I can't picture life without her.
Mhm.
I can't picture life
Oh
without her.
my goodness, that is just. You all know my good word, my one good word, phenomenal. That's just phenomenal. I just
Yeah.
that is just
Phenomenal.
wow, amazing that you are a mother. I can only imagine because I had three. One was about I think they were 15 months apart as well, and then the other one came a little after, like 2 years or so. So my three, and I was panicking with that. So I can imagine. Oh my goodness, wow. And then the potty training. And I was pulling out my hair. That's why I wear a wig to this day. Okay? Because potty training ain't for the weak,
It's
my
not
boys.
easy.
No.
Okay? It is not easy at all.
No.
So, Mom, I salute you.
Yes, me too.
Thank
me
you.
Too.
Oh my
Thank you.
goodness.
Mhm.
Kasprintina, let's talk. Let's talk about you. Let's talk about your journey. And of course, you are welcome to share as much or as little as you want to, regarding your journey as a single parent mom.
So I would say I've been divorced 17 years. So that's an indication of how long I've been parenting. 17 and 22. They are 4 years apart. Um, and I share this now because I walk in my truth. Neither one of my children were planned pregnancies. They were not anticipated. And so that journey in itself was emotional. But at this point, I stand grateful because I realized that the journey was what it was because of who they are. That's as best as I could put it. I've gotten to a place where I consider myself privileged that God actually chose me to be a mom. I think it's probably the greatest accomplishment that I'll ever have in my life was that I was able to impart what God instructed me to into two human beings, and they turned out pretty okay. The journey was not easy. I've had valley experiences and I've had mountaintop experiences. And I think my valley experiences probably outweigh the mountaintops that I had. But I'm thanking God for all the mountaintop experiences that are coming, that have started, and that are coming. Um, but raising two young men is not easy. You know, being a mom, whether you have a husband or don't have a husband, or you divorced, or you single, or the daddy there or ain't there, motherhood is still work.
Not easy. Mm-hmm.
It's still work. It's still a lot of work. It's still challenging some days. It's overwhelming some days. It's beautiful some days, but it's still work. And so I think, you know, we can downplay mothers, whether we single, we married, we divorced, you know, we widowed, you know, whatever the situation is, a mother's work is insurmountable.
Yes.
And I think uh, there are certain circumstances that, of course, add different elements um, to each of our individual stories. A blended family, a special needs child, a single mom, you know. I think the most challenging part for me was balancing. I sit here and I'm happy for you too on the panel that have that great support in a husband, in a spouse that, you know, could give you that breathing moment. And I would
Thank
have to
you.
say that was the most challenging part of my journey, was that there was no breaks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a mom 365 days. I can't take a break. I can't decide that this weekend I don't want to have the boys, you know, or this today I don't feel like picking them up from school, you know. So I think for me it was the having to be a mom every day, no breaks, um, sometimes no rest, sometimes not being able to do. And all of the ladies, all of you on this panel can relate to that. Putting yourself last,
Yes.
you know, you
Yes.
are last. We do everything for everyone. We give everything to everyone. Um, and in my particular situation, I didn't really have anyone to pour back into me
Wow.
within my space. And so I think that if we are sharing and we being in our truth,
That's good.
um, my truth is that there were no breaks. I'm grateful for family members that I could call, grandparents that I could say, hey, I need a school pickup today. Hey, I got to work late. Hey, I got to work overnight. I need someone to take the boys. And so I'm grateful for the village of friends. I think it was, I don't remember who said it, that your village ain't just your family.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's friends, you know, godparents, co-workers that some days see that you're tired and offer an encouraging word. My church family, oh my God.
yes.
Oh my God, I don't even have words. My church family and the people that God aligned in my life that became family. No blood relation, but became family. And I think just being able to have support is so necessary in parenting. Um, and so for me, I would say my greatest challenge was having to balance everything by myself. That was,
Mm.
you know, the greatest, having to be, um, I think Adama said something about a 17-year-old, you know, building that relationship where you talk about anything and now you feel like they just share a little bit too much. So that's how I felt. Like, I'm like, I have boys, I have no daughters, I have two sons. And you coming to me with men issues, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah.
you can't really do that to
Yes.
me. I don't know what to tell you. But you know, I'm grateful that I had God, that I have God. Um, that when I felt like there was, you know, there was no other way through it, that He gave me strength and wisdom that I needed to raise my two sons. I'm grateful for that.
Amen.
Grateful for that.
Yes. I love that. And Adama, let's talk about you and having a blended family. Let's share, allow you to share your journey regarding that.
Mhm. Well, to be honest, to begin, a blended family was never in my dream. All right. I always, as a little girl, I always dreamed of having this perfect little family, this perfect home with husband and children, and but that wasn't the way that God saw my path to be. So here I was, um, about to be remarried. My husband had two children, a son and a daughter. I had two girls, and I I remember just being a feeling of, yes, I love him, and I love his children, and I just wish that I could put my blood in their blood, and then we all become one. I was all excited, but in the same token, I there was a little overwhelming feeling of fear, and would I measure up? Could I take this on? Two additional children. I remember calling my mom and saying, "Mommy, you think I could do this? You do you realize what this means? That means the grocery bill will double. Bills, other bills will double. Do I have the capacity to do this and to be effective as a mother to four children and a husband?" And I mean, we got married, and it was God. It was God that gave me the wisdom. But if you want to be real, if I want to be real, it wasn't easy because it's two different families coming together. You I had my household. We did things a certain way, raising children a certain way. My husband had his household, raising his children a certain way, and sometimes that clashed. And it caused friction. Also, there was this recurrent worry about, if you don't want his child to feel as though I am favoring my child more, and vice versa. And it got, for me, and I sometimes I overthink, and I get so emotional. And at some point I found myself treating, not intentionally, but treating his children even better, or showing them more attention,
Right.
because I was trying to be so intentional so they won't ever have this feeling that, oh, she treats me different because I'm not her mother. So I never wanted that to happen. Another factor was family members. Oh boy, family members. Um, I know I had to tell my side of the family, my mom, my siblings, aunts, whoever. Listen, these are now my children. And when we first got married, we lived together, actually, because he had custody of the children. I told him, I said, these are my children. So whatever you would do for Adonai and Asia, you do for DJ and DJ. When we celebrated birthdays, listen, the same way we celebrate, the same way we get a gift, you do, because these are all my children.
That's wonderful.
Right. And my husband, on his side, he did the same thing. He did the same thing. But even though you do that, sometimes families, that topic of in-laws, and I'm not talking about his side, I'm talking about both sides. Sometimes they can cause issues. They can cause issues. They can interfere. I don't want to get into details, but there can be interference that makes you feel, uncomfortable, and it causes friction among sometimes the children and among the parents. So like for the first year or so, it was like, the Brady Bunch. I remember the Brady Bunch.
Yes.
Yeah, that's how it was. But as time progressed, it got challenging. It got challenging. Sometimes some children on both sides would say things that, oh, weren't true. Sometimes one side would miss their other parents, and then y'all know how that story goes. So I think it was Cass who said initially, motherhood is something that is it's unconditional.
Yes.
Like if you love it on condition, it's gonna be a problem. It's gonna be a problem. So now the children live with their mom. His son lives with the mom, and the oldest daughter, Deshay, she's an adult. So she lives, well, I guess you can say on her own. And we have to work. We have to work at the relationship to make sure that no one feels slighted. No one feels as though daddy is paying more attention to the children on this side and vice versa, because we're human, and sometimes things like that it happens. No matter how spiritual you are, no how much in the church you are, the human side of us sometimes it takes hold of us. But it's a joy. It's a joy. And one of the things I noticed when we first got together was that his oldest daughter, we had so many similarities. So many similarities. She does like public speaking, that kind of thing. We were into the same kind of thing, and I'm like, oh yeah, this is gonna be good. And sometimes I told my daughter, I say, see, you need to you need to be like, you need to learn. And that's another thing. Sometimes from one side there were strengths that the other side picked up. Like, for example, my hubby's children, even though in my household I prompted my children and they know basic manners, yes ma'am, no ma'am, how are you, that kind of thing. They were taught that. But for some reason, they were more reserved and a little bashful. But on his side, oh man, they were so outgoing. Good morning, yes ma'am, da, 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 da. And so that's what I liked. The two blended so well together. So where my children were weak, they pulled them up, and vice versa.
I love that. But just quick, how old were they when you got married?
Okay, so when we got married, my hubby's daughter was 12, going on 13. Right. She'll be 20 in June. His son was 6, going on 7. My daughters were, I don't want to tell you the wrong age,
Right.
10, I think, yes, 9, going on 10. And the other one was 6, going on 7. So they were close in age.
Right.
Yeah,
So
to some
together,
extent.
y'all have just one together.
Oh, right. Oh, how could I forget?
Hello?
How could I not acknowledge the baby?
Oh.
Yes, we have one together. She's now 4.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, so this is what's going on. So that I want to get deep down in y'all emotions now. Y'all just talk the surface. We want to get about how were you feeling? How did you feel when that happened? What were your thoughts when you found out that your daughter has special needs? Cass, I'm very sensitive with you because I don't know how much you would want to share, but what were some of the emotions that you felt, having to deal with raising 2 boys by yourself? Like, honestly, we're going to share like anger, we're going to share resentment, we're going to pick up all those different emotions that women experience now, and they don't know what to do with those emotions. We're going to deal with that. And so what's happened is we're going to take a quick break. And when we get back, we're going to share our feelings. Stay tuned.
So I know what I feel.
I just need to get a charger
To
real
get
quick.
what you said, because I have a blended family as well. I get it.
You get it.
I get it. But your joy and your situation was, this may sound weird, a little bit better, because his significant other was clearly out of the way.
Well, only at the beginning, though.
No, that's fine. At least she knew her place.
Oh, dun, dun, dun.
Oh boy. Hold on just now.
This is
Better
on
hold
Facebook.
on just
Yeah,
now.
we're on
on Facebook. But
Hold on now.
I would say
Uh-huh.
I had a different challenge.
Okay.
And my biggest prayer, which is now every day coming to light, and I thank God for it. When you pray, sometimes you feel like God wasn't listening, but He was listening. The relationship I have with my stepdaughter, which I don't ever call her, so please, baby, don't be listening, because just say, use my baby too. It's so admirable.
You have a good relationship.
I have a wonderful relationship, you know, and a prayer that I don't even recall praying probably took place too, because I could now too talk to her mom.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
You know,
That's a
That's
breakthrough.
right. You had a good and mature level.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Mhm,
yeah. I could literally call her and say, "Well, hey, whatever, how you doing? Whatever. It's a birthday." I could say, "Hey, babes, happy birthday."
Yeah.
No,
You know,
it takes two.
Oh,
Babes.
yeah, man.
That's
Oh,
revolutionary.
I could say happy
Yeah.
birthday. You know, my kids are welcome in her home.
Oh, wow.
Literally, if there's a hold on, let me don't even lie. I have to also send a shout out to her mom, because Grammy don't leave out my children.
Wow.
Grammy don't leave. If they leave this island, if a socks come back in that suitcase, a socks come for every last one of my
That is
children.
admirable.
And I love that,
Yes.
you know. But my biggest prayer back to me saying is, I never wanted her to feel like I wanted to replace her mother.
Right.
Like
That's
I
important.
explained to her,
Right. Oh,
I
yes.
said
I
I
left that part
don't
out.
want to replace your mom.
Right.
I want to be your bonus mom.
Okay.
You so I explained to my you know, the older two, y'all are blessed. Y'all have bonus parents. Nobody here to replace
No one.
anyone. We just here to add. If anything, I find myself kind of spoiling a little bit, because now she is an adult, so she could kind of send a little WhatsApp and say, "Yo, Max, so where you taking me?" You know, I'm like, "Oh, you're gonna get me feel young again." So we do that
Don't
thing.
do it
But
here, because you look young. Don't let nobody think
No,
you some
no.
old
notice
rabbit.
I always say, you want the real age or the fake
Okay.
age?
'Cause y'all know black don't crack, right?
No.
Not at all.
No.
Welcome back. If you're just tuning in, you're late. All right. But this show is called Mother's Day Roundtable with three wonderful, wonderful mothers: Adama Williams, Kasprintina Ellis, and Akera Brown. All right, and we're talking just basically talking about their journeys, what they've been through. We have a mother representing a single mother, a single parent, who's divorced. We have a mother representing two mothers actually representing blended families, but one in particular that is representing a family with an autistic child, and then a mother that's representing a blended family, and you know, talking about whatever challenges that she may have had prior to, and challenges with in-laws. But we're not going to get too much in that, because I won't cause no trouble at the end of the day. So, Kasprintina, let's get back to you. Let's get back to your story. What were some of the emotions I know a lot of mothers felt when you said that, hey, at least y'all were fortunate enough to have a little piece of grace. You were fortunate enough to get a little me time, but I had them all the time. You know, so explain some of the emotions that you were going through. Some of the what would you call it, mountain, not the mountaintops, but the valleys you may have experienced during your years of raising your sons.
For the valley experiences, sometimes it felt like failure. Um, I think my first real experience for me would have to be, my first set of emotions was helplessness, like uncertain of, what's going to happen. My second son came, I found that I was pregnant after I received divorce papers. I found that I was pregnant with my second son. So the emotions there, Adama was married. This is your second marriage. So the feeling of divorce
I do.
in itself
I
is
do.
already, divorce is already a place of a crushing kind of, your self-esteem is damaged.
Yes.
Your confidence is gone. You have so many questions. And then you still have to be a mom, because I had my first son, but now I'm pregnant with my second child, and I know that I'm going to be by myself because I'm going through a divorce. And so those emotions, I went from the hurt of divorce, um, the betrayal of divorce, the hopelessness of now being a single parent, um, fear, failure. Um, I don't know if those emotions could even go into words. You develop a strength that you you never saw in yourself, that you never
Mm-hmm.
even thought you had the ability to
Yes.
be able to even, I mean, going through divorce for yourself is enough, but now having to do it where you have to cope with children and help them through the loneliness and the, so I mean, I could only explain to you some of the things that happened, like my oldest son was 3 when I went through the divorce. I'm pregnant with the second child, and I have a 3-year-old that's crying because he's trying to understand the situation, why all of a sudden his dad is not there. Um, and then now welcoming in a baby in this situation, like, to me it was like madness. Like, God, like, really, this, like, God, like, and I was saved, I was loving Jesus and everything. I mean, and I'm just like, God, really, like really, like, I found myself being questioning God and asking him, why would you allow me to go through all these levels of pain? Why would my hurt be this much? Why would I have to deal with divorce and now deal with being pregnant and having a second child and going through pregnancy and having this child and being by myself? I don't know how Adama's divorce was, um, or what she felt, if she could relate to what I'm saying. There's a level of loneliness that you can't even describe. Um,
Can't describe it.
and it almost forced you to be in a place of seclusion, like isolation.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I was in a place of isolation because I didn't want anybody to ask me how I was doing. I didn't want anybody to try and relate to how I was feeling. I didn't want nobody to call him or this and give it, I was in,
Mm-hmm.
I just didn't want to have to deal with that. And so it was a broken place, a very broken place. The best way to describe it is a shattering place, because everything that you knew it to be, your life to be, of normalcy, um, I think Adama said it, where she never saw herself in a blended family. I never saw myself divorced. I was getting married. I was all in. I can do my wifely
Yeah.
duty. I can be the best wife I could be. I can be the best mommy I could be. I just had this figured out. That So when that hit me, and I found myself in a divorced state, pregnant with a second child, I felt like my life was a mess. I didn't
So where
see
did you
no goodness in this.
where did you get your strength? Where did your strength come from?
So I remember. So if I take you back to the first part, we ain't supposed to cry. So
Yeah,
my
because
first
I'm
pregnancy,
here.
Absolutely, Doctors.
my first pregnancy happened before I got married. Same person that I married,
Yeah.
but we were in a place of separation. So I experienced the loneliness of this first pregnancy, the disappointment from my parents, that they did not expect this. This should not have happened to me. I should not have had this child out of wedlock. I should not have been making the decision that I don't want to get married because I'm pregnant. And then I got married. The marriage did not work, and I'm divorced. And now I back at this. It was like a cycle.
Yeah.
It was like a cycle. Like, so I'm like, yeah, again, like, how I get here? How did I get to this place? And how do I get through it? And I could still remember the song that was playing. I was driving to work, and I had a mix CD in, and it was a TD Jakes Woman Thou Art Loose CD.
Mm.
And that song was playing, and the Lord said to me, I have placed inside of you a seed of greatness.
Amen.
He will be great in the earth. And I was like, God, I don't even understand how you could associate greatness with what I'm feeling right now, with all of this turmoil, this loneliness. How do I feel like there's greatness in this? And it took me, I had to go 17 years before I could see the greatness.
I want
But
you to share the greatness, because some people don't know. Share
so
the greatness.
I found myself pregnant, unwed, family disappointed. This man telling me that, I ain't sure what I want no more. We were engaged, broke off engagement, and now I'm pregnant. And it's just like, you know, I'm like, how I get to this place where I supposed to see greatness in this child that you've given me. And so I'm gonna tell you that story. The Lord spoke to me concerning him. My second child in this same place of isolation. And the Lord says to me, he has come to be your warrior. He's your warrior, and he's going to take you through. I named him Caden Christian. Caden is warrior. Christian is Christ-like. And someone said to me one day that you have to survive because the Lord gave you these two kids, these two boys.
Yeah.
And you have to survive because of them. So I had to put my big girl panties on,
Mm-hmm.
and I had to remember that it wasn't about me. That in the midst of all my pain, that there were two little people that was relying on me to do what was necessary. Hold on 1 second. I gotta put my charger in, guys.
Okay. So while we wait on you, because we're on radio,
Okay, there we go. All
we
right.
good?
I think I good now.
Okay.
Yeah. So in all of that, God gave me greatness at 17 years old. My son began to take on athletics, and
Ooh.
yeah, took on athletics. He started with track and field. He was pretty good at it. And then he started to have this passion and love for basketball. 17 going on 18, he's getting prepared to go to college. And I remember as a single mom, you always thinking about money. You're always thinking about how all of this stuff can happen. You declaring with your children and saying all these great things that are gonna happen for them. But you really trusting God for it to happen. And he received 56 college offers. 56 scholarship offers.
Wow. Oh my
That's
56
goodness.
amazing.
full scholarship
Wow.
offers.
That is good.
And
God is amazing.
God is awesome. I'm telling you. He went on, he had to choose till it was news about where he was choosing, because he's playing basketball now and he got all these schools after him. And I've got coaches calling me and coaches flying to the Bahamas to meet me and talk to me because they want my
Wow.
son. He made a decision, went to the University of Texas on a full ride, where he was even receiving a stipend. This is how real God is. And within his second year at the University of Texas, he was commissioned by the NBA to be selected for the draft. So in
Woohoo!
2020, yeah, that's amazing. So in 2022, my son was drafted to the Charlotte Hornets and plays in the in the NBA.
What's his
So
name?
that was Kai
Give her a
Jones.
shout.
Kai.
Yes.
I thought so, you know, because
were
you said
getting there by
Kaden.
your baby.
Sorry, take a bit.
We were
Yes.
waiting on. We were getting there. You them said you
Yes.
don't watch movies.
No, we wouldn't know what happened.
Yeah. So this single parent, this divorced single
Mhm.
parent who didn't even at moments didn't have anyone to watch her children for her. Moments where I'm sure as a single parent, even when we married, sometimes we think about finances.
Yes.
So as a single
Yes,
parent, you
Lord.
wanna, you think about finances, how the children can eat, where they can go. They want to do extracurricular activities, especially with sports. We know sports ain't cheap. You know what I mean?
Ain't nothing
And
cheap.
the only thing that I assume
Nothing.
based on what she was saying, what kept her was God's strength, God's grace that has kept her. God promised her that she'd have both of her boys would be successful, and lo and behold, her boys are doing exceptionally well.
Yes.
And Cass, we can talk a little bit more about that, but let me get the other two because we're actually wrapping up now. So we're gonna talk a little bit. I'm gonna give you all 2 minutes each just to talk about your valleys and mountains experiences, your emotions about all of this, and then we're gonna close.
Okay. You go first. Thanks for glass.
No problem. Just to be honest, even for a little bit of humor, just going through the valley aspect of it. The first thing I look at, well, whose side of the family she get this from? Because everybody okay on my side,
Okay.
But in all truth, that's the child I carry the most, if that makes sense. There was a point when she was totally nonverbal, and persons used to look at me like, "How you understand her?" And I thought about it. How did I understand her? Like, this little girl was saying not one word, and just by looking in her eyes, I understood what it was that she wanted.
Mother.
And yes, so at the end of the day, my little tidbit is God is in control. He will never leave us or forsake us. Mother, he have you. He did not give you this gift to leave you alone. So even in your lowest point, that's your baby. You will always connect and understand your child. Don't give up. Don't feel helpless. Don't even allow that opportunity to take place. Don't even nurture that feeling. The minute that come, run that. Stay in prayer. Sometimes I find myself even pausing and saying a quick prayer, just because, stay in communication with God. He got you.
And you went a little ahead of me because I thought you would have been with some tips that you want to share, but that's good. We're going with the flow. Go ahead, Adama.
Okay, so
Yeah. That's you had to give you no water.
I was trying to swallow and it was stuck. Okay, so we was talking about valley experiences. Now I don't want to divulge too much, but yet I still want to be real, because persons go through experiences, and sometimes you need to hear someone else going through a similar experience so that they can know that God is real, God got you, and you can make it through it. Within a blended family, there are challenges. Sometimes persons can be dishonest based on their feelings, what they wanted their life to be, who they wanted to be with, and it can cause hurt, deep hurt, especially when there's a situation where you know that you entered this with a genuine heart. Right. You entered with a genuine heart, and all you want to do is love. And so you can get to that place where you're hurt, but I'm gonna go back to, and because I don't want to be specific, I'm talking general, but giving you an idea. You go back to that unconditional love. You say, God, help me through it, because I want to be an example of you. I want to do what you would have me do in this situation. I want to be a good example, you know? So I depend a lot on God for my strength, and talking to other people who may have experienced a similar situation, because all situations are different. All family dynamics are different. Okay, so also church family it really plays an integral role in getting through family hurt, and just having that support there to get through. But all in all, it is a rewarding experience. I get the benefit of doing it again, starting over, reflecting on my life, because similar to Cassie, uh, I had a bad experience at first at my first marriage, and so now, and my husband and I, we always say, well, um, it's a good thing we didn't, because sometimes we would say we should have met each other sooner,
Yeah.
but we had to go through these experiences in order to get where we are now. And so I just thank God for the experience to do it again. And we learn from each other. We continue to grow. We have our ups and downs. But what I'm thankful for is that I have a godly husband, someone who keeps me in line sometimes when I step out of line. Yeah, I'm thankful for that. And once you are in an environment where you have two people working together on one accord with God as your compass, everything will work itself out.
I love that. In fact, I can let you elaborate for about 2 seconds now. If you were to give a tip to someone who may perhaps be getting in, like, who is planning to get married or engaged to be married to another person, because it's a women's show, but of course I say someone because we have men that listen as well. But let's focus on the women right now because we want to get to their emotions. Let's say there's a woman who wants to marry a guy with children, so he already has kids. So what are one or two tips that you can possibly give her to help her along her way? And of course, she hasn't said I do as yet, so maybe you could help her along the way.
So prior to getting married, I would say, and this is something that we did, which was good. Have a conversation with the children to see where they're at, to see what they're thinking, how they feel, what each person's expectations are, and just make sure that everyone understands each other. Um, Also, you want to to make sure that you are unconditionally attached. I keep saying that because if you're not, if you only like this man because, or want to be with this man because it's he looks good or he has certain benefits, that you benefit from, it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work, because when the child does something to you, when the children do something wrong, um, that's it. That's it. There's nothing to fall back on. So first of all, make sure you love this person unconditionally, no matter what. That you could take his faults, that you can get along with his children, that you're all on one accord, and use, like I said, use God as your compass, and everything will work itself out.
Listen to me, just a little side nugget. when you marry this man, you have to marry all of this man, everything
Mhm.
connected to him, his genes. So that would require, if you feel as if you can't stand his children or you have an issue with his children, then maybe that shouldn't be. This is basically
Mhm.
what Adama was saying anyway.
Mhm.
Maybe that's not the relationship for you. I want to also put a little tab that to say, Mommy, I apologize for breaking up your relationship when I was but 10 or 11 or so. I know that the person who you were with at that time um, wanted to be with you, but I couldn't stand him. And I made it a little bit difficult in that relationship. I had to say it now because I never apologized. And then after that, I don't know what happened. I mean, he tried. He tried for me. He tried. So he tried to take me out for McDonald's so that he could talk
Oh,
to me and see
Lord.
if I, and I just was, my lip was long because you ain't my daddy. And so, mommy, I just want to say I'm sorry. Let's go back now.
Oh boy.
Go. Listen, children, y'all behave yourself, man. Y'all
Glad you
causing.
release yourself.
I go because it's been years. I was but what 10 or 11. I just made it difficult
Wow.
with this guy because he was not my father.
Wow.
And let's move on.
Well, mommy, I sorry too then.
You do?
You did it too?
What? Because I don't care who it was. If any male called the house for my mom, Rose can't come to the phone.
Oh,
Okay.
no, I wasn't that bad.
Oh, I was awful.
Mhm.
Yes. If you and daddy didn't work out, that's it. That over.
Mhm.
It's only us. You only
Wow.
got us.
Yeah.
You need, Mama, you only need to love us. We love
Oh,
you.
Lord. Why you say that? Aw.
And there are, believe it or not, there are children who do these things.
Yes.
No,
Seriously,
for real.
and
Yes.
they break the hustle.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
I mean it.
Lord.
Guilty. Mama,
Yeah.
you
My
only
my
need to
oldest
love us.
son did it.
We love you.
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
See that?
I mean, he bring damage to someone's car and all. It's like, just no.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Wow.
You don't need
Yeah,
to
like
love
no.
anything else from me.
Wow. So we gotta talk that.
It's a real thing. It's a real
It's
thing.
real. Real. Mhm.
Yeah,
And I
it
think a
is.
part of it is not just you ain't my daddy. A part of it is this my mommy. This all I got. I'm about to go through.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I
Exactly.
Don't
don't
mess
want to see
this
you
up.
hurt again. I don't
Mhm.
want to see,
Mhm.
So that's a
Mhm.
part of it as well.
Yes. Absolutely.
Mhm.
And so, Kira, let's get a tip to someone who may have a child that
Mhm.
is autistic.
I gave him my tip.
Oh, yeah,
already
she
gave
did.
it.
She
Okay,
did.
blessings.
Gave him
did.
my
Blessings to
tip.
you. Okay, Cass, this is you. A short tip. Someone who may be in your shoes at the moment. Who, in fact, I know someone right now who has. I think her daughter is 4 and her son is 3, and she just got the divorce papers this weekend. This weekend.
Wow.
Okay. Um, s- talk, Cass.
Trust God.
Mhm.
I and I say that with an assurance. I
Mhm.
told somebody I would go through this journey all over again if it meant that I would get the benefits of my 2 children that I'm getting now, that I'm receiving now, that God would show up so significantly, so strongly, so purposely that it would have saved me years of stress, of wondering and worrying. I am a testimony to say that God is a promise keeper.
Amen.
He is a keeper. Trust God. They're my 2 words. Trust God.
Mhm.
I love that.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ladies. Thank you, Adama. Thank you, Akira.
Thank you for having us.
Kasprintina,
Yes.
for
Thank you,
just being
Trish,
so
for having us.
transparent. Thank you
Mhm.
so much. And just before we leave, I just want to share at this moment, it's called my Talk to the Audience moment, and it's brought to you by Your Lane Life Coaching. And these are tips that I would share prior to the show. Just write down some notes and stuff just to remind, because most of these are just reminders to the audience based on the particular topic. And then if you notice some of these things that I'm about to share, my guests would have already may have shared 1 or 2 of them. And then the first thing that I considered while preparing the show is to for mothers to ask God for wisdom to be a mother. It's not easy. The journey is not easy. When we lean on our own understanding, we mess things up. We tend to say things that we're not supposed to say, or we do things that we're not supposed to do, and we mess up and we mess our children up because we're just trying to wing it. The best solution, mothers, is to go to the Word of God, apply the Word of God in your parenting, All right. Ask for wisdom. God, how do I deal with this? How do I answer this? How do I talk about the birds and the bees? Because child, we didn't get there. That's another story for another time. My second point is for those with more than one child. Remember that each child is different. This is something that I had to learn along the way. The way that you may communicate with one child may end up being offensive to the other child. All right. The way that you may joke around a crack joke, like what we call it in the Bahamas, we crack a joke on one of your children or one of your kids, the other person may start crying automatically because that their temperament is different. You need to know and understand their temperament and apply it accordingly. All right. Third is pay attention to your children and get involved with their lives. With children under your roof, there's no such thing as privacy. All right. Get all in there. Get on their devices. Go look through their devices. Google search. Look in their search engine. Look on their chats. Read all of that. Yes, I said it. Now, if you don't want to do it, that's on you. But I know it's for me in my house. Okay. All right. So pay attention. Get involved. Ask them questions for those with younger children. Hey, when they come inside the car, make conversation. How was your day? Who did you play with? What did you eat? What did the teacher say today? How did your assignment go? How did you whatever it is, so that they can actually have a relationship with you. So that when they want to come to you, they know what to say. Allow access, and this is something that Kasprintina had spoken about. Allow access for ease of communication. When they come to you about a matter, think before you speak. Do not retaliate or raise your voice automatically. Let's get out of this thing where we say, when they ask a question and then you say, because I told you so. That is long gone and outdated. All right, that is played out. You want them to be open with you, and it starts with just asking them simple questions daily. You don't want your children to have to go and search Google for questions that they want to know about their bodies, about themselves, about relationships, etc. And you definitely don't want them to go to their friends and go and answer those questions either. All right, you want to be able to take the time to speak to them, to have an open door policy, for lack of a better word, with them, so that when they have an issue, when things start happening with them, then you will be their fortress. You'll be the first person that they go to. All right. Whatever questions they may have, they can go to mommy. They can go and ask mommy. All right. My fifth is learn to apologize. Yes, us as parents, as mothers, sometimes we make mistakes. Sometimes we say some things that we're not supposed to say. Sometimes we do things. Sometimes we make promises and then we don't commit to them. Honey, my CJ, I don't know if you're listening, but mommy can give you your money, okay? That's another story for another time, because he's been harassing me with this money. What I owe him, I need to give him back his money. All right. So I apologize for not giving you your money from Sunday, but I'm going to make sure that you have your money today. All right. Learn to apologize. Kids have feelings and emotions too. Y'all think just because they're young that they don't express their feelings and emotions. And I want you to know they are sponges. They suck up things, especially emotions, because they can tell you how they felt at this particular time, at this particular day, at this particular age of their lives. So please, all right, be empathetic with them. The sixth is don't be discouraged by what you see going on with them. They may be untidy. They don't know how to take care of their room. They may not be responsible the way that you would want them to be as responsible. Not paying attention in school, back talking, or expressive, like how y'all would put it, or going against what you wish for them. But if you did the groundwork and training them in the way that they should go, as the Bible said, when they grow old, they will not depart from it. Sometimes children have to go through prodigal stages, as the prodigal son in the Bible, before they come to themselves. So give them room to grow and give them grace, just as God has forgiven you and given you grace to mature and develop. All right. And I said this already, but children are sponges. So you will notice that they are willing to do what you do first or better than them doing what you say. I said that right? Yeah. So they will do what you do quicker than what you say
to do.
Right, to do around them. So be careful of your habits. Be careful of the way that you say things
That is
about
so
other
true.
people. All right.
Yep.
So be mindful of those things, because when they see you and they see how you act and they see how you respond, then and another example of this, one time my daughter, my 4-year-old, was, well, she's 5 now. At the time she was 4, she was playing as if she was driving in the car, and she was driving. I'm serious, this is crazy. She was driving, and then she's like, "What about you, boy?
Yes,
Get out of the
yes.
way!" And so I
Yes.
asked, who did you get drunk?
You.
Uh-huh.
I've had many of those moments.
So from that day to
Guilty.
this, you've never seen me with road rage. By
Mhm.
God's grace. Sometimes when I open my mouth about to say something, I be still, because I know that these are my kids. I don't want them to have
Mhm.
that particular habit and development that I once had. And there's so many other parenting tips, of course, but those are just a few that I wanted to highlight today. And I'm ending now. If you're in need of any form of life coaching, you may say, okay, well, this parenting thing ain't it. I ain't doing it right. I don't know what's going on. I need help. I need tips. I need to know how to organize myself. I need to know how to take mental breaks, because mental breaks are so important. And we didn't even have a chance to talk about that. But mental breaks are important. Having to know how to organize yourself is important. These little things help with mommy burnout for those who may be experiencing that. And mommy burnout, of course, is when you're at a point where you're so overwhelmed that you literally don't know what to do. Like you just in a shell after
Yeah.
that. All right. We don't want to get to that point. We want to, and this is my final tip, my bonus tip. Listen, take an opportunity to take a break. Some of you may say, well, I don't have anywhere to take my children. I don't have this in. You have that, find a village. Pray for a village. If you are at church, you go to church. Pray for someone that is mature enough and that you are comfortable with, that you can perhaps say, I just need 2 hours. Even if it's just going on the beach, going, taking a spa date, doing something for yourself, finding a way to pour into yourself. And I had to learn that. And I just recently learned that last year. This wasn't always like this. I just learned how to take care of Trishawn so that Trishawn has the strength and the ability and capacity to be the wife and the mother of 3 children. All right. Take time for yourself. All right. Because the more you just keep on going, the more aggravated and annoyed and irritated you will be. And then you are no good to your family, because they just thinking you just rowing all the time. You just rowdy, rowdy, rowdy. Yeah, 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 yeah.
You can't pour from an empty vessel.
Okay, you cannot pour from an empty vessel. And so
Mhm.
if you need help with life coaching, if you need help with marital coaching, you can go to my website. That's www.yourlanelifecoaching.com. Dairy Queen wishes to say happy Mother's Day to each and every one of you, and to let you know that they have ice cream cakes available for all occasions like birthdays, anniversaries, graduations, and of course, today's Mother's Day. You can also have your cake personalized with an image, or have your favorite blizzard made into a cake like Oreo, guava cheesecake, and turtle pecan cluster. Yum, yum. Also, DQ will be giving 3 deserving mothers a chance to win a Mother's Day cake with our mother daughter or mother son look-alike contest. You can go to their social media outlets for more information. So I want to thank once again my guests. Thank you so much for tuning in. Those who are watching via Facebook, thank you so much for your insight. Thank you so much for those who are listening via Star 106.5 FM and Channel 976 on cable. Today's show was brought to you by Airborne Freight and Cargo Services, John Shoe Store and Accessories, Family Medicine Center, Your Lane Life Coaching, Bahama Odds and Ends Party Supplies, Listerine distributed by Lowe's Wholesale, Skin Solutions Day Spa and Salon, The Perfume Bar, and Dairy Queen. All right. So thank you once again, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you so much, Beats, for holding it down like you always do. I pray that you all have a beautiful Sunday afternoon. Happy Mother's Day. God bless you until we meet again. Let me just say real quick, next week, y'all, we're going to have Pastor Kevin L.A. Ewing in the studio under the topic Rebellion in Children. Moms who may be wondering why your children are acting abnormally, always in and out of institutions or principal's office, you want to tune into this show next week, Lord's willing. We know that knowledge will set us free. That is what this show is all about. Until next time, happy Sunday! Woo!